Do you ever wonder why some people, even those who were incredibly sharp and vibrant just a few years prior, seem to simply fade after 80? The common assumption is that it's all about genetics or just plain luck, but that's far from the whole truth. What if I told you there are deeper, more subtle reasons, 5 unexpected factors that often determine who truly lives long and stays healthy past 80, even for those who've done most things right? These aren't the usual suspects you hear about, like diet, smoking, or exercise. These are hidden truths, often overlooked, that can quietly undermine vitality. But here's the beautiful part. Once you understand them, you hold the key to changing your own path. So, if you've ever pondered what truly gets in the way of a long, vibrant life after 80, and how to safeguard your own journey, stay with me until the very end. These 5 insights might just help you redefine your future before it's too late. The fading echoes. When small connections disappear. Have you noticed how, as we age, the small, seemingly insignificant daily interactions that once peppered our lives begin to quietly vanish? Experts call it the loss of microsocial engagement, and it's one of the most overlooked reasons many older folks don't live long, fulfilling lives past 80. We're not talking about deep friendships or family gatherings, which of course remain vital. Instead, think about the casual nod to the mail carrier, the brief joke shared with the cashier, or the quick wave to a neighbor walking their dog. These tiny moments of connection might seem trivial, but they are profoundly important. They regulate your nervous system, reinforce your sense of belonging, and keep your brain's social circuits vibrant and active. But after 80, life often simplifies. Errands are managed online or by family, casual chats become less frequent due to changes in hearing, or simply because going outside feels a little too challenging. And as these small social touchpoints fade, so too does something essential: vitality. Most don't even realize it's happening. They believe they're just making life easier. Yet, they are inadvertently removing the low-level social stimulation that elevates mood, sharpens brain function, and signals to the body that it's still a living, breathing part of the world. Imagine an 85-year-old gentleman I knew who remained remarkably sharp, simply because he walked to the same coffee shop every morning, greeted the same staff, and exchanged nods with the same 3 people on the corner. That short stretch of human connection wasn't just routine, it was his lifeblood. It gave his day structure, kept him accountable, and made him feel seen. When these small interactions disappear, there's a biological cost. Loneliness, both profound and subtle, registers as a stressor, altering hormone levels, increasing inflammation, and weakening immunity. Crucially, it begins to shrink the brain networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation. In simple terms, it accelerates the aging process from within. So if you find yourself talking less to people throughout the day, if casual conversations have dwindled, or if you feel a quiet invisibility settling in, it's a powerful sign to reverse course. These seemingly forgettable moments are, in fact, telling your brain and body that you still matter, that you are still part of something. That message is among the most potent medicines for staying alive, not just in years, but in spirit. The cage of caution. When being careful becomes harmful. It sounds like wisdom, doesn't it? Being careful. Yet another silent reason many people don't thrive far past 80 lies in crossing a crucial line, the one between genuine caution and overcautious inactivity. While seemingly protective, the consequences are rarely immediate but always cumulative. It often begins subtly with good intentions, Perhaps a minor slip on the stairs, or a momentary loss of balance on the sidewalk. You decide to reduce your outdoor walks, avoid bending low, or hesitate to climb into the back seat of a car. Those around you might even applaud your prudence, advising you to take it easy, don't push it. Before you fully grasp it, you've constructed a life that feels safe, but undeniably still. Here's the truth no one really talks about. When movement halts, so does strength, and not just in your limbs, but in your coordination, your balance, your intrinsic stability. Your body isn't a machine that recharges with rest. It's a garden that needs constant tending. When activity slows to a trickle, things don't just stagnate, they weaken. One of the first casualties is your core. Most people underestimate the importance of those deep trunk muscles for everything. Standing, walking, lifting, even simply rising from a chair. If these muscles go unused, even for a few weeks, they shrink. And when they shrink, your balance suffers, leading to a deepening cycle of unsteadiness. I remember Walter, 82, who stopped his evening walks after a minor slip on a rainy day. No broken bones, just a fright. But that fright was enough. He transitioned from walking a mile nightly to spending most evenings watching television. Within 6 months, he'd lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs felt like jelly, and despite his doctor's warnings, the decline had already begun. Walter didn't stop because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped. I'm not suggesting you ignore genuine risks. There are smart ways to protect yourself, using handrails, wearing stable shoes, clearing pathways, even using a cane if it helps. But there's a profound difference between managing risk and surrendering to it. When fear dictates your movements, your body slowly forgets how to move at all. So if you've noticed yourself doing less, not due to physical inability, but from an underlying fear of what might happen, pay attention. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself, or am I slowly disappearing? Because truly living past 80 isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about continuing to move, even if it's more carefully, more slowly, more deliberately. Movement is how your body remembers it's still needed, how your systems stay online, how your brain stays alert, and how your heart keeps pumping with undeniable purpose. The misaligned clock. When light confuses your body, there's a silent, unseen clock deep within you, governing almost every aspect of your being. Your mood, your metabolism, your immune system, even how your brain repairs itself each night. After 80, this internal timepiece, your circadian rhythm, becomes incredibly sensitive. And one of the biggest reasons it goes awry is a common, yet often unrecognized, imbalance. Not enough natural light during the day, and too much artificial light at night. You might not notice it at first. Perhaps you start napping more during the day, or you stop going outside regularly, especially in colder months. Then, in the evenings, the TV stays on, or lights remain bright late into the night while you read or watch a movie. Each change seems harmless on its own, but together, they subtly confuse your body about when it should be active and when it should rest. Your body relies on natural light to maintain its rhythm. Bright morning light signals to your brain that it's time to wake up, to energize, to get moving. Conversely, darkness at night triggers the release of melatonin, that gentle hormone that ushers in deep, restorative sleep. But when your eyes don't receive enough of that crucial natural daylight, or when your evenings are saturated with the artificial glow of screens and lamps, your internal signals become scrambled. The result? You might struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep. You wake up feeling groggy, even after hours in bed. Your energy might lag throughout the day, and your memory might feel a little fuzzier. Over time, this chronic sleep disruption affects far more than just your energy. It weakens your immune function, destabilizes your mood, and even heightens the risk of cognitive decline. There's also the crucial aspect of vitamin D, which your body naturally produces when exposed to sunlight. After 80, your skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D diminishes, making regular outdoor exposure even more critical for bone health, muscle function, and immune strength. I recall speaking with Helen, an 84-year-old woman who felt increasingly tired and disoriented. Her blood tests were normal, her diet unchanged, no new medications. The turning point? Her doctor simply advised her to spend 20 minutes each morning by a window with the blinds wide open and to turn off all screens an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved, as did her memory and mood. It wasn't a new pill, it was light. So, if you find yourself spending most of your time indoors with curtains drawn, or if your evenings are bathed in the blue light of a phone or TV, it's time for a shift. Try to step outside within an hour of waking, even for just a few minutes on your porch. Let your eyes and skin absorb that morning light. In the evening, dim the lights, allowing your body to naturally prepare for rest. These gentle rhythms are more than comfort. They are integral to survival. What many fail to realize is that the body doesn't just get old from wear and tear. It also ages from disorganization, from systems falling out of sync. Restoring your light cues, your sleep schedule, your daily rhythms, that's how you bring order back. That's how you tell your body, even at 85, we're still on schedule, still in motion, still truly here. The unspoken burden. When emotions are buried. By the time many people reach their 80s, they have silently carried a profound amount of loss, far more than most younger individuals can even imagine. A spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, sometimes even a child. And while the world may offer polite condolences, what's rarely acknowledged is the sheer accumulation of these losses, not just in memory, but deep within the body itself. What often unfolds after 80 isn't merely grief, it's emotional suppression. It's the slow, quiet habit of swallowing pain instead of expressing it, of presenting a brave face because you feel you should be accustomed to it by now, or because there seems to be no one left who truly understands the depth of what you've lost. But here's the unvarnished truth. The body does not forget. When grief is left unprocessed, unspoken, unshared, unfelt fully, it doesn't simply disappear. It gets stored. And over time, that emotional weight becomes physical. It begins to impact your immune system, your digestion, your sleep. It alters your hormones, placing your nervous system in a constant state of quiet tension. The most challenging aspect is its silent manifestation. On the outside, you might appear calm, even declare yourself fine. But if your shoulders have subtly grown heavier, if your breathing feels a bit shallower, if your inner spark has dimmed just enough that you no longer feel entirely like yourself, unresolved grief might be the underlying reason, even if you haven't spoken of it in years. I recall George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He rarely cried, asserting it wasn't his way, and claimed he was managing well. Yet, within a year, he'd lost significant weight, stopped attending the senior center, and began struggling with sleep, not due to illness, but because his body was silently carrying a sorrow it had never been allowed to release. Emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to be damaging, and by the time it manifests in your physical health, the connection often isn't obvious. What propels people well past 80 isn't just physical strength, it's emotional ventilation. It's having safe, open channels for sadness, for fear, for longing. It's the ability to articulate, "I miss her," or "I'm still angry," or "I feel utterly alone," without judgment. That kind of release allows the heart to breathe again, and when the heart can breathe, the body can truly heal. This is why long-lived individuals often possess some form of outlet, perhaps a trusted friend, a journal, their faith, a community group, or even a therapist who helps them gently unpack decades of accumulated stories. Regardless of the form, the principle remains. What is expressed can be transformed. What is buried festers. So if you've been holding something in, not out of choice, but simply because you didn't know where to put it, it's time to create that space, not just for the sake of your emotions, but for the sake of your life. Because the truth is, the heart can only bear so much before it begins to quietly shut down. If you wish to reach well past 80, not just breathing, but truly alive, you must allow yourself to feel. The vanishing anchor. When daily purpose slips away. One of the most insidious reasons many people struggle to thrive past 80 is the slow, almost imperceptible erosion of something we often take for granted until it's gone. Daily purpose. Not life purpose in some grand, philosophical sense, but the simple, everyday kind. The kind that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, knowing there's something to do, somewhere to go, someone to see. Purpose doesn't have to be monumental. It can be as simple as watering the plants before the sun gets too hot, feeding the neighborhood cat that waits patiently by your door, writing a heartfelt letter to your grandchild, or finally fixing that stubborn hinge on the back gate. But when these small, anchoring routines begin to slip away, when mornings arrive with no discernible reason to move, and evenings pass without anything truly worth reflecting upon, something deep inside begins to quietly shut down. The body listens intently to the mind, and when the mind no longer perceives a compelling reason to push forward, the body often follows suit. Appetite diminishes, movement slows, and without purpose, the intricate systems that once regulated your health begin to go quiet. Not because they are broken, but because they are awaiting a reason to reactivate. This is easily missed because its onset is so gradual. Perhaps your weekly bridge game was canceled, or the church group stopped meeting. Maybe family visits become less frequent, or your old volunteer role ended when your knees started aching. You tell yourself it's just normal, a part of aging. Yet deep down, you can feel it. The days blending together, each one quieter than the last. I once met Ruth, an 88-year-old woman who seemed more vibrantly alive than most people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, wasn't in perfect health, and wasn't surrounded by a large family. But she possessed one crucial element that never left her: routine. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to shut-ins from her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it for a local shelter. And every single day, around 4 p.m., she sat by her window, watching the neighborhood children walk home from school. She knew their names, waved to them, and they waved back. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her days texture, gave her heart rhythm, and gave her life a profound sense of continuity. And that's the secret no one tells you. The body stays alive as long as it believes it's needed. Purpose, even the smallest kind, is like fuel. It tells your cells to keep repairing, your organs to keep functioning, your brain to keep learning. When you lose that sense of relevance, when you feel that your presence no longer matters to anyone or anything, the flame begins to dim. That's why those who live gracefully and vibrantly beyond 80 almost always have something anchoring their day. It could be a garden, a cherished pet, a dedicated journal, a morning ritual, a regular phone call, or a simple daily prayer. What matters isn't the scale, it's the consistency. It's the profound knowing that when you open your eyes in the morning, there's a compelling reason to rise. So if you've been feeling a little adrift, as if your days have lost their shape or meaning, do not ignore it. That's not just a passing sadness, it's a vital signal. Your body is silently asking for rhythm again, for structure, for connection, for purpose. Because ultimately, longevity isn't just about the heart continuing to beat. It's about the heart wanting to beat. And that quiet, profound desire to keep going, to stay connected, to still matter. That's what carries people past 80 and into lives that continue to feel rich and full. A new path forward, the power you hold. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to share a simple, yet incredibly powerful truth. Most people don't simply fade after 80 because of one dramatic event. It's rarely a single diagnosis, a sudden fall, or even a specific birthday that instantly changes everything. Instead, it's the slow, quiet erosion of vital habits, comforting rhythms, and compelling reasons to stay fully engaged with life. And often, these shifts are so subtle, so gradual, that you don't even recognize what's happening until something deep inside feels undeniably dimmer than it used to. But here's the good news. Just as these changes occur slowly, they can also be reversed slowly. One extra walk outside, one more conversation with someone at the grocery store, one small stretch in the morning, one simple thing you choose to do today, not out of obligation, but because it brings structure, connection, or meaning to your day. That's how you begin to turn things around. So, reflect on the 5 unexpected reasons we explored today. Which one resonated most deeply with you? Which one felt uncomfortably familiar? And most importantly, which one are you willing to act on, even in the smallest way, starting today? Because the truth is, you possess more power than you realize, not to stop aging, but to profoundly change the way you experience it. And if you are willing to stay awake to these quiet shifts, if you are willing to guard your rhythms, protect your purpose, and allow yourself to feel what truly needs to be felt, then there's a beautiful chance that you won't just reach 80. You will live well beyond it, fully and deeply, on your own terms. Thank you for joining us today. We would genuinely love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one insight you gained from this video and how you plan to incorporate it into your life. Your thoughts are invaluable to us, and reading your comments offers immense motivation and encouragement. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. Your support enables us to continue creating content that informs and uplifts. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you in our next video.